The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Storybrooke Weekly Mirror in Wonderland, the unofficial Once Upon a Time in Wonderland internet radio show, exclusively on PapiChuloRadio.com. Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. I'm your host, Papi Chulo. During tonight's broadcast, we're going to revisit ABC's Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. Later on in the broadcast, get ready for a spoiler alert as we bring you the hit ABC series as Easter eggs and ratings. Please welcome my wondrous co-hosts. First up, she's secretly double-crossing her friends. It's Brittany.
Wow, that's really dark, but I love it. That is so me. Hey guys, I'm ready to talk. You know me from other podcasts, and I am darkness, so I do like that intro. You know me well, Poppy. You know
I
me
do.
well.
Darkness incarnate.
Yes.
Next up, she was tossed into the boiling sea. It's Katie Cat.
That sounds very painful. Hey guys, I'm super excited to talk about this show, this miniseries with you.
And she got stuck in the mallow marsh. It's Priscilla.
Woohoo! I got some dragonflies to take care of that. Hey guys, we're gonna have fun.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. So let's jump into our recap of episode 101, season 1, episode 1, which was titled Down the Rabbit Hole, and originally aired on October 10th, 2013. Here's the official synopsis of the episode. Alice returns home to her father, telling her that everyone thought she was dead. Her imaginative stories about a talking white rabbit and a mythical place called Wonderland end up getting her admitted into an asylum where Dr. Lydgate convinces her to have a procedure that will allow her to forget her pain. Right before the operation is set to take place, she is rescued by the Knave of Hearts, who takes her to the rabbit, who informs her that her true love Cyrus is still alive. As the trio then jump into the portal returning to Wonderland, Alice sets out on a quest to find him, but the villainous Jafar and the Red Queen have other plans for her. Let's start off with the ratings. Down the Rabbit Hole, the pilot episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, was initially viewed by 5.82 million viewers on October 10th, 2013. Alright, so we are revisiting this series. All of us have seen the series before. We followed it when it was originally on, or at least shortly thereafter. So we are rewatching it to share with you, the listening public, our thoughts on Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. So upon rewatching this episode, I want to get everyone's initial reaction to what they saw. So what did everyone think of the pilot episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland? We'll start off with Katie.
I really liked it. I forgot how much I love this show. The pilot just opens up the entire theme and the entire setting and such for the show, and it really just set the tone, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But I just really liked it. It opens up the worlds that we're going to be seeing, like the Mallow Marsh and the Boiling Sea and stuff like that. And then we got to meet our characters, who are fantastic. It's so fun to see where they start off and then where they end up only after 13 episodes. So it's fun to revisit kind of their beginning in the
pilot. Especially, I forgot that the pilot started off with Alice as a little kid returning from Wonderland. I totally forgot about that, but that was a fun shout out, I guess you could say, to when she was a little kid and then growing up and going back to Wonderland. So I just really liked it. It was a fun episode. Plus, we got to see Will Scarlet, who was absolutely fantastic. So no complaints there.
Will Scarlet is Katie's boo thing.
He is. He's great.
They're engaged, listeners. They're engaged.
I wouldn't complain.
Brittany, what are your thoughts on the pilot?
I am rewatching the series right now with you guys, and it's been amazing because I haven't seen the show since when it premiered, which was, I believe, 2013.
Yes, that's what I said.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't paying attention. This is how I am at school too. Don't. It's okay. It's not because it's you, Poppy. It's just the way I am. I tune things out. So,
Katie, will you pass Brittany the dunce cap?
Yeah. Yep. Just gotta go sit in the corner with it.
oh, okay. But no, seriously, like since I haven't seen it since then, I only saw it through once. See what I did there. I forgot how much I absolutely adore this series and how much I love Will Scarlet. But overall, it's a really good pilot. I think it grabs you and takes you in, and you're immediately put into this world of wonder, and it's really cool. And I think one of my favorite parts of it is that they kind of put Alice in a realistic setting where, if we did talk about what it's like to be in the real world with something and talk about something like that that's happened to you, they're gonna think you're crazy. Like, and they would, I guess in her era, I'm gonna assume they would put you in an asylum and want to do things to you, like torture or whatever it takes. And I like that approach. I really do. And I feel like this is like a darker part of the writing from the Once writers, and I liked it. I ate all of that up. It reminded me of Sucker Punch. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that movie, but I quite like it. And I think it's dark and it's a little tragic, but it's also really enticing. So I loved everything about it. Really great pilot, in my opinion.
All right now. Priscilla, what are your thoughts? Your initial reaction, your initial thoughts on the pilot?
Well, it's weird because going back to 2013, I remember like seeing this and being really bored with it and just being kind of like, well, it's nothing to like hook me to this episode. And watching it now, I'm like, what was I on? This is amazing. This is great stuff. Like, you have the titular character being like just as badass, but like in a different way than Emma is with Alice. You have an accompanying character who is charming and kind of devil may care with Will. You have the great like love protagonist who is very easy on the eyes, Jeannie. Like,
holy crap!
Sure,
yeah.
the CGI might be a little weird with the rabbit, but I think that's the point of Wonderland, that everything's really distorted and odd and weird. It reminds me kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where like they're interacting with things that just aren't there, but it's silly and kooky and fun. I think that's what describes most of the series, fun. And then like comparing like Wonderland with Once, you have like a really like charismatic, awesome female villain and another like badass kind of scary like male villain, like exactly like season 1. Like, it's good. It takes what Once had and twists it, and that's what I expected in a Wonderland series. So maybe I got too much of it when I was watching Once Upon a Time and Once Upon a Time in Wonderland at the same, like in the same time frame. But now that it's like just by itself a mini series, like it's a lot easier on the eyes. It's a lot easier to swallow.
All right. I agree with Priscilla. When I initially saw the pilot way back in the fall of 2013, I did not care for it as much as I liked it now. And it could be because I've already seen the series, and so I know the characters, and it was like seeing old friends again, because I haven't seen this series at all as well since it initially aired. So this is like the first time that I'm seeing it again. And the pilot wasn't as bad this time around as it was the first time. I felt the first time around that the pilot was very slow, and I didn't really grow to like really love the series until the subsequent episode, because I feel like the second episode is a little bit stronger than the first, because the first one, like with any pilot, it's very expository. You know, there's a lot of exposition. You got to get to know the backstory of the characters, their motivations, their relationships, and whatnot. And I felt like it was a lot for that first episode. I will disagree with you, Priscilla, on the CGI. I thought the White Rabbit is actually the good part of the CGI. Some of the other CGI is not as good. But we've come to expect that with Wonderland, because if you think about it, on the mothership on Once Upon a Time, the Wonderland CGI wasn't always the best. So there was that, but for the most part I thought it was a very entertaining pilot. It introduced us to these really great characters. As Priscilla said, the villains were really good. The main characters were really good and well developed. I loved that Alice was like this kick-ass chick. Like, she was hardcore, and like she was doing all the work. Like, she was there with like a dude, and like the dude just like sat back and was like, okay, I'll let you handle it. You know, you can kick all their asses. It's fine. You know, kick them in the head. I'll just relax here on the side. I thought that was awesome.
Really, like I didn't expect once to have like fight scenes where like, I don't know, where you could conceivably see like Black Widow doing some shit like this, like in the Avengers. Like she kicked ass. I loved that scene. That was inspiring.
Really cool.
That was amazing.
I agree.
All right, everybody. So before we get into our thorough recap, here are a few reminders on how you can interact with the show via social media.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Storybrooke Weekly Mirror. Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives.
Okay, everybody, so let's get into the pilot episode. Let's get down to the nitty and the gritty. First up, shout out to the opening title sequence, which was very similar to the opening of Once Upon a Time, the Mothership. It simply read, Once Upon a Time. And so let's get into the pilot by discussing the characters, because I feel like the plot of the pilot is very simple. You know, it's basically Alice returning to Wonderland, searching for her true love, Cyrus, the genie. So let's get into the characters. What did everyone think of Alice when you saw her hit the screen? We saw her go from child to adult, basically, in the span of a second. You know, there was just a short scene of her as a child, and then we were introduced to grown-up Alice in the asylum. What do we think of Alice, Katie?
I really liked her. I mean, it was an interesting way to start the character, having her return from Wonderland and then get sent to this asylum. It was so. It was very interesting to see how people in that day would react to somebody who was speaking of, you know, being in another world, and how, you know, there's talking rabbits and smoking caterpillars and all of this stuff, and how they sent her to an asylum where it's not the best place. So, you know, we got to see kind of an Alice who was very down at the beginning, and then all of a sudden we see her breaking out of her cell and knocking all these people out, and you're like, dang, okay, I like it. And it was just, she's refreshing. I really like the actress who plays her. She does a really good job with the different emotions
that she needs to go through. I don't know. I really enjoy her character because she's a strong character, but she also allows herself to fall in love with this genie, and we see just different forms of her character when she's in love and when she's breaking out of the prison cell and knocking people out and stuff like that. So she's a diverse character in that aspect, and I really like how they gave that to us with Alice.
Brittany, what did you think of Alice?
I have to agree with Katie. I think that the casting was spot on because I think we've had a lot of different types, different Alices, in the movie verse, cinematic verse, and then we had the animated first, whichever. There's a lot of different. I don't even know if there's an old Alice in Wonderland before the animated. There might be. I'm not sure.
There is actually. There's a black and white Alice.
Oh, okay. See, here I was thinking Wizard of... I don't know why I want to mix up Dorothy. I guess because their dresses are both blue and white. But anyway, I like that they give us, like, a younger Alice because that's who we're familiar with. Especially if you don't read the books. I haven't. But I do know that they have a series of books or maybe just 2. And we have young Alice, but then we also have teenage Alice, So it's really cool that we're getting teenage, maybe a little bit older than that. I don't know if they say her age in the pilot. It may have flown over my head, but
they don't. But I would guess she's, I would say early 20s.
Yeah, I wanted to say at least older than 18, maybe 18 or older. I expected. I didn't want her to be too young anyway. So if that's her age, awesome. But I like that she's a happy little girl. She's there in the little dress that I was talking about. And she's so excited about what she went through, and I'm just like, oh, this is really refreshing. This is really cute. And then we get older Alice in the asylum, and it's scary. It's a scary place to look at, and to see that the doctors sometimes don't look like they're trying to help you. It's more for them than it is for you, for the patient or the victim, however you want to paint it. But I was interested right away in her story. I wanted to know what happened to Alice. What did she go through? And I think the actress is absolutely gorgeous. I love her dresses. I love her outfits. It's typical Once type of stuff that the reason why I like Once is the reason I'm liking Alice in Wonderland. And it's awesome. I really like that. And of course, Cyrus is just sexy as fuck. Damn, like damn. And I remember seeing the series, right? And I knew I found him attractive, but it's like I come back and I'm like, damn, like I forgot how hot you were. Like, right? Thank you, Katie. She understands. So, I mean, I complain sometimes about Once that, oh my God, love at first sight. But here I'm like, shit, I'm in love too. With the pilot, like, damn. But
Hashtag OMG.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty awesome. I like the transition of the flashbacks and the present Alice, and then how it just all comes to the end, and it just stays on the present. But she kicks ass, man, and I think that's one of the reasons I like this Alice so much. Out of all the movies I've seen and the animated, show, or movie, which I love as well, but I just love her kicking ass. I'm a choreographer girl. I like the hand-to-hand combat thing, and I love that Will's just like, you know what? You do this, and she's just kicking ass. Then again, I don't think these guys know how to fight, but either way, she does, and it's fucking refreshing. It's awesome. I'm here for this. My body is ready.
Oh gosh.
Take it, Cyrus. Just kidding.
Damn.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Somebody grab the hose. Right? Wait, I think that's what Brittany's trying to do. Let me stop.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh gosh. Well, I loved that we had basically warrior Alice. Like, she kicked ass, and it was fantastic. I love that we had another strong female character in the Once world, and I liked what we saw in the pilot with Alice. It was great seeing her as a child, because I feel like we all sort of identify young Alice in the dress, like Brittany was saying, because that's what we've seen in the animated movie. So it was nice that we got to see that. And then we saw grown-up Alice, and then we were sort of seeing all these flashbacks to the various journeys back to Wonderland, because we heard her as a child say, "I'm going to find proof for you, Daddy. You're going to believe that I was in this land with, giant cats and hookah smoking caterpillars and all this kind of stuff." And so she ends up going back, and we got to see all these really interesting flashbacks on her time in Wonderland. And without really even spending a lot of time there, we really got to understand her journeys in this wondrous land, which was nice to see. And it was interesting that we got to see her sort of at like her lowest point. And like she was ready to go through this medical procedure, which I looked up. It wasn't necessarily a lobotomy just yet, but it was like the precursor to a lobotomy. And I'm like, after seeing American Horror Story Asylum, which aired the season before, I was like, oh, please do not do a lobotomy. Do not get electric shock therapy. Don't go through what Sister Jude went through, damn it. And so, I don't know, that was an intense scene for me, but I'm glad that she sort of got to her senses, and they ended up rescuing her, and she ended up returning to Wonderland and starting off her adventure once again in Wonderland. Priscilla, what are your thoughts on Alice?
I loved her. Like I said before, like I kind of really like Warrior Alice, and I liked Little Alice. Like I totally agree with Brittany. Like seeing her, like kind of like the animated series Alice with like her little like blue dress and like her pinafore. Like it's cute. Like, and it's what I expect. But then like you go into like some Victorian era Penny Dreadful sort of shit with like them being inside of an insane asylum. I'm like, whoa, this got hella real. Like this is what you would expect from somebody that's talking about growing big, then growing small, then like and magic mushrooms and just weird shit. Like, yeah, you'd picture her going into an insane asylum, but you'd never picture Alice giving in and giving up on her beliefs and what she went through. So like to see her jump through and like and the reasoning being that she's given up on life because she's lost her love. Like, and I don't know, like to see sparks fly between her and Cyrus is amazing, and to see her interact with Will and just kind of like they're kind of like best friends in arms, but she still like doesn't trust him. Like it's amazing. And there's one scene though that like wasn't touched on, was her interacting with Cheshire, with the cat. Like that was scary. Like I was just kind of like, I felt for her, like just up there barefoot, nothing to defend herself with this giant cat.
Because that's in episode 2.
No, it's episode 1.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the
Are you guys sure?
Episode 1.
Okay, just making sure.
It's her like, and it's kind of that nonsensical thing where it's like, we're not friends. Oh, okay. Well, how do you do? Now that we're friends. Like it's that weird sort of nonsense language that you got with the books, and I don't know. I really loved it. Like, she's just the first time I ever saw this, I thought, well, the reason Once is so magical and awesome is that you're getting to see things from Emma's perspective, which would be the viewer's perspective. Like someone who's not magical, who's like just kind of just perplexed at what's going on. But this time you're seeing it through the perspective of Alice, through a character herself. And it makes things just a tinge more unbelievable. But that's the point. Like, you're supposed to see things through a new perspective. I love Alice. She's a great character.
I like that. That was magical, what you said at the end, Priscilla. That was perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the character that I feel was really the breakout character of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. The character of Will Scarlet, a.k.a. the Knave of Hearts. So we're introduced to Will in a very familiar location, Storybrooke, USA. And just to sort of, I guess, let everyone know where in the Once Upon a Time timeline this takes place. This takes place during the season 2 premiere, the night that the Wraith attacked Storybrooke and was searching for the evil queen, aka Mayor Regina Mills. So that night, we see the Knave of Hearts breaking into Granny's diner. He just wanted a cup of coffee. He left a tip, but then he took the tip back, and then all of a sudden the White Rabbit erupts basically in the Granny's diner. You know, he makes a portal and collects the Knave of Hearts to help him get Alice back to Wonderland. So what did we think of the Knave of Hearts? We'll start off with Priscilla.
Holy shit, like, again, after watching, like, this show, like, again, I was like, Will, where have you been all my life? Like, you were, like, I thought you kind of looked like American Horror Story's Pepper with, like, a different hairstyle, but, like, no, he's actually, like, really charming in Devil May Cry, and, like, what the hell, like, what am I on? Why do I like him so much? Like, he's cool. Who tips themselves and then takes the money back? I don't, like, he's so stupid, and I love him. Like, he's very blasé, like, and he's a jerk of a character, too, because, like, what type of person promises to help, then steals the stuff anyway, but comes back in the end to help you? Like, he's a rogue. He's a charlatan, and he's perfect in, like, his stuff, and he's that real person perspective, because he kind of, during the Mallow Marsh where they're getting stuck and he's falling, he's like, oh, excuse me if I want to die quickly instead of slowly, and he talks about s'mores, and everybody around him's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that is the real person perspective I was looking forward to. He's a new character because he, in every aspect, you should dislike him. He's not like a good guy, but just the way the actor plays it is interesting. So I like it.
Yeah, I love that we had a character on this show, or that I should say that we have a character on this show that sort of knows about our world, so they can drop in like the pop culture references. Not that s'mores are a pop culture reference, but that's something that only people from the land without magic would know. So it's nice that we have a character that knows about our world, that has lived in our world, presumably for quite some time, that they can sort of drop in like, oh, okay, that's kind of like this. And then everyone's like, what, huh? What do you mean? Like, what's this? What are you talking about? So I like that we have that in Will. And I feel like he's such a strong character. He really was the breakout star of the series. And obviously that's one of the reasons why they took him to the mothership. But we'll discuss at a later date, at some point during the season, what we feel they did with him in the mothership. So continuing on, just chatting about first impressions of Will in the pilot. Brittany, what'd you think of Will?
Oh man, I love Will. I mean, I know I was like, oh my god, Cyrus, like, holy shit. Like, when you just love at first sight for Cyrus, but Will is like, I'm drawn to him because I naturally love bad boys. Like, and then
You're a sucker for the bad boys.
Nobody knows that meme unless they listen to the other podcast. So
They do.
You can't bring that over here. That doesn't count.
It's a callback.
Oh my god. But also if the actor is just as, charming, and then they have an accent and you're just kind of like, ooh. But no, right off the bat, Will Scarlet already got me. I mean, all he did was he bumped into someone, took their keys, and went in Granny's. Like, fuck yeah. Like, I was already on board for this guy, and he's just so sassy and sarcastic, and that's right up my alley. Definitely. If I just like to look at Cyrus, I would say my favorite character is probably Will Scarlet right now. Like, yeah, I'm loving Alice and stuff, but I like a character with a lot of sass. I like just someone that makes me laugh. I like that, and also someone very conflicted and flawed. I love that. I like to see all of that. So, Will just won me over instantly. Like, I could talk about him forever. But he won me over in the pilot. He was just hilarious. And like how Priscilla was saying, when they were melting in the, or in the, what was it, the sinking marshmallow, quicksand marshmallow thing. Like, it was just, that was hilarious. And then that instant too, where he was going to steal from Alice, or he did actually, because he did do it. I was like, damn, Will, I was on your side. And that's funny because I've already seen this series and I totally forgot that he comes back to save her, and I was like, oh damn. But yeah, I think what I'm interested in though is like why, like, I'm like Alice. She comes back after a long time and she doesn't know how much has changed. And I think that's where the this show grabs you. Like, you don't really know what happened to everybody or what's happening in this world. And as for Will, we've just met him, but he's a wanted man, and I'm like, you know what? Why are you wanted? I want to know all these things, so I'm already hooked, man. I'm a fan. I'm Wonderland girl. Like, I
You
love this
know,
stuff.
And you're the queen of sass.
Yeah.
you mentioned that, like, and I completely forgot that, like, when they finally reach the Mad Hatter thing, he's nice. He, like, tells, like, the White Rabbit, like, why did you do that? Why did you make her, like, lose Cyrus
Yeah.
again? Like, I forgot that he was also, like, a nice guy this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, and when they're in trouble and stuff, like, he's really funny and sassy, but like when it comes down to it, he has a really great soft side, and it's like when you least expect it, like you were saying right now, like, I forgot he did that. It's like, me too. But that's why I think I like him so much, is because he's not black and white. He's actually everything that I would probably want in a guy. Like, so
Oh my.
that's why I like him. But I don't know anybody here with accents, so yeah, sad times.
Oh, well, there you go. Katie, what are your thoughts on Will?
I really like him. Like, he is, if I'm talking about the entirety of the Once Upon a Time universe, Will is one of my favorite characters.
Wow. Those are strong words,
Wow.
Katie.
They are. Well, he's such a great character. He's got that level of, I mean, the main thing about him is his humor, but he also has, like they were mentioning before, he has the sense of being nice. He has a sense of having an emotional past that he has to deal with. There's a lot of different facets to his character, and he's just a really fascinating character, and he's really funny. He's so funny. I mean, you think back to his scenes, and they're mostly the scenes that stick out because he does such a great job playing them. And one of the things I love about his character is when he'll say something about, like, modern world, and Alice will be like, what? And he's just like, never mind. Or he, like, starts to explain it, and then it's just like, never mind. Those are the best scenes. But I love him. He's so funny. He's a great person to play beside Alice. They play so well off of each other. The actor and the actress do so well together, I think. They're one of my favorite pairs in the show. And I love how it's not a romantic thing either. It's more like a mutual bond or a mutual friendship. And I really appreciate that it doesn't have to be romantic when a guy and a girl are in a scene together, or, something like that. So I like that about their relationship together. And he's just a great person to play alongside Alice. So he's one of my favorite characters, probably in the entirety, like I said, of the entire Once Upon a Time universe.
Wow.
Oh my.
Very impressive. Okay, so here's a question that I'm just going to put out there. What did we think of the inclusion of the Once Upon a Time mothership characters? Because we saw Cinderella, aka Ashley. We saw Grumpy, aka Leroy. We saw Emma's bug. We did not see Emma, but we assumed that is Emma driving and swerving out of the way from the nave. And we saw some familiar locations. We saw the main street of Storybrooke, and we also saw Granny's Diner. What did we think of the inclusion of these elements from the mothership?
I liked it. I think it really kind of brought in the mothership and brought in that this is a universe kind of off of an already successful show, which was, interesting. And I liked how they were side characters, like Ashley, who we saw a little bit in season 1, but we really haven't seen anything of her since season 1.
She's happy.
Yeah, exactly. And then we got to see Grumpy too, who Leroy Grumpy, whatever. He's a fun character. I really like him. But I thought it was fun that they kind of brought that in and kind of showed us where we are, what time this is taking place, in relation to when the original show was taking place.
If I recall, wasn't the episode where, the storm happened, didn't Emma drive and, she almost drove into someone in the street and she's like, hey, what the hell? And, swerved out of the way, exactly like it happened, but through Will's perspective. So we've gotten to see this, twice over. And, I don't know, it's fun to me to see kind of, once give the okay to Wonderland by, Leroy being there and by the diner. Cinderella was okay, but having those two things which are quintessential ones come out in Wonderland.
Yeah, it should have been Granny.
Leroy is great though. I feel since he's the pirate in Pirates of the Caribbean, the one that's with the dude with the
Parlay
kind of has him to christen this is great for Disney. We love you. We approve. We approve this message. So having him be on Wonderland is the kiss of approval.
Okay. Now, what about the callbacks to the Wonderland that we've seen on the mothership? Because we got to see the caterpillar, we got to see the famous hedge maze that we've seen before on the mothership, and although we didn't see him, we did get a couple of shout-outs to the Mad Hatter as well as his home. What do we think of the inclusion of familiar elements that we were introduced to on the mothership?
I was so mad when they introduced the Mad Hatter because they were just kind of where he's he's happy where he is. I'm like, God damn it, does that mean he's not coming out in Wonderland? Because I could always go for some Sebastian Stan. What the fuck? He needs to come out here now.
Yeah, if I made a list of all the hot guys in Wonderland, I'm pretty sure the Mad Hatter's number 1 for me.
Right now he's a little busy being a soldier in the winter.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn it. But it was sweet, but bittersweet because I wanted his character to come so much. But at the very least, Will said that he's happy where he is. So I don't know, we know for sure that he's with Grace and he's happy now.
I don't want him happy. I want him on my screen.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Go watch.
Y'all know it's true. Don't lie. You want the same thing.
It's true. It's okay. Yeah.
But real.
Yes, he needs to be in a triangle with Emma.
Oh my god.
I don't know. No, we're okay now. We're okay with where we are now. We don't need that. But he can be in a triangle with me. But
I thought they had chemistry. They were cute together.
Oh.
But they were also dating in real life at the time, so maybe that's why they had the chemistry.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Damn. Well, yeah. Anyway, that is some fun trivia. But yeah, I would have loved more Sebastian Stan. We didn't get him, okay, but at least we get a nod to both worlds, you know? I mean, well, they are in one world, I guess, but I guess realms, you know.
You mean Once World?
So, Once World? No, I don't know. I don't know because they exist in the same universe, so there you go. But yeah, so. It's cool. It's cool to nod over at your partner. Yo, we exist. Yo, we exist too, but we're more popular, so whatever.
Oh my gosh.
Overall, I liked it. It's awesome. And I was so sad that they didn't even have a picture of him in his own house or something, but
they might not have cameras in Wonderland.
I know, see that's that too. See, I don't know. Magic exists, but they don't have cameras.
They don't even have D-Links.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how this stuff works, but it is what it is. That's all good.
It's all good.
Well, it kind of makes sense that he doesn't have like pictures. That was the most miserable time of his life.
That's
Trading
true.
hats over and over again for the Queen of Hearts. Remember? So like,
That's true. That's true.
why? Why would he have a picture to like console himself looking at himself or some shit? Like, no. He just was the Mad Hatter at the time.
Yeah.
That's
That's true as well. All right, let's get into the love interest of the series. Let's talk about Cyrus the Genie. Although we didn't see much of Cyrus in present day until the end, we saw a bit of him through flashbacks, and we saw how he met with Alice. She was back in Wonderland getting proof for her father that Wonderland does exist, and she ends up shrinking after eating a piece of mushroom, and ends up finding his bottle, and he ends up granting her wishes, and he shows her all around Wonderland. They end up falling in love, and then he gets tossed into the boiling sea vis-a-vis the Red Queen, who we'll chat about in a little bit. But it is revealed at the end that Cyrus actually survived the fall into the boiling sea because Jafar, who we'll be chatting about in a little bit as well, saved him with his flying carpet, his magic carpet. So, what did we think of Cyrus upon revisiting him again?
Sweet baby Jesus, he's hot.
oh Lord, have mercy.
Well, like, when we first saw him, I was like, this guy's, like, his character's too perfect, but he's super hot, so I'm not going to complain at all. But, I mean, going through the series, you get more of his character, but holy crap, I forgot how attractive this guy is. What the heck? My gosh, when he first appeared on the screen, I was like, dang, okay. I totally get why Alice fell in love with him. He's super attractive.
We all fell in love with him. Like,
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
that proposal was so sweet, and I don't know, it wasn't sickly sweet, it was just aw, and like seeing him like sword fight, like that was awesome too. I was
Yes.
like, fuck yes.
You know, yeah, and you know, I don't even want to say that it's cliche that he's good looking, he's good at everything, but I think it's more of experience that he's been around for so long that he's picked up a few
Yes.
things. I don't think he was born amazing. I think he grew and became amazing, you know? And that's what I like about him, you know, and he doesn't have like one cocky bone in his body, you know, like he's just who he is. And he's just so charming, like I mean I would have fallen in love with him too right away, but I do say that I don't like, you know, love at first sight stuff on a lot of shows, or maybe in Once a little bit, but I do want to say they give us a little bit of their love story, like most of it within, like, I would say probably a good 20 minutes of the episode, and I'm totally on board with them. I ship them. I'm in it. Like I like that they meet and they talk, and it's just they do fall in love with getting to know each other and the curiosity and everything, and it's just I like it. I love it. And it's weird because I usually don't go for that type of stuff, but I don't know why the way they wrote them in the pilot itself, I was just like, I'm sold. And I didn't know that Alice in Wonderland Alice in Wonderland. I'm sorry, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland was going to be a love story, and Alice, you know, going to find her love. But that's what the pilot's for. I didn't see any promos. I didn't read up on anything, so I was just like, surprise me. And it ends up being that. And I'm like, oh, a love story, whatever. But I never found myself saying that when I was watching them. I was like, why am I drawn to this? I really, really like this. And I think that they make sense. I like them together. A lot.
I like that it does that whole Once thing where like you didn't know that Snow White knew the Wicked Witch, like that sort of shit where like it just kind of intersects two like stuff together, like, and it's like, come on, Aladdin's the genie with Wonderland. When the fuck are we ever gonna make that connection? But it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
And
they had a bit more of a, in my opinion, their love is more of like the sweeping romance of like Snow and Charming, if we're going to compare them to the Mothership.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like it happened in one episode, but it makes sense and like you totally fell in love with it.
Yeah,
It's
and
not,
they
like,
kind of have the
cliche.
whole, I'll find you, I'll always find you thing that Snow and Charming have.
Yeah. Yeah, and that necklace thing, that's so cool. I love that idea. It's really romantic. And it's a fun like effect and something to add uniqueness to their relationship. I really liked that a lot.
Yeah, who needs a ring when you have a necklace with your heart in it? And it's
I
just
know.
it's very sweet, very swoon worthy. And I think that's what I felt like with their relationship, and literally like 20 minutes of the flashbacks and the way she talks about him, and it's that kind of love that it hurt to watch, because you're watching it in the flashbacks and you're like, this is beautiful. This is great. And then you're seeing her in the present in the asylum and she's like, no, I don't remember it, or I don't believe in it. And then he's like, well, you cry out to him in your sleep. And I'm like, ooh, like that, like this is gonna hurt. I was like, why are you making me feel already? And it's great. I like it. And that's why I'm hoping she's like 18 and over, that it's not, you know, childish love, but you could totally tell they sell it. They literally sell their love story in the first episode, and I have to applaud the writers for that, because, or maybe I'm just lame and I just fall for anything.
Aw,
But
you're a romantic sap, and we love it.
yeah, but I'm not. That's the thing. I'm really not. I'll be picky, but here I was just like, you know what? I'm on it. I have sailed with the ship.
Your heart
I'm
grew
there.
3 sizes.
Or maybe someone gave me back my heart.
How dare they? How dare
He
they?
has a heart on a necklace now, and somebody finally came back and gave it to him.
Aww. Our little Brittany is whole again.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll find out. Okay, let's get into the villains. And we gotta start off with our homegirl, the Red Queen. What did we think of the Red Queen? We saw her a lot in the flashbacks, and we saw her plotting in the present day with a certain someone that we're going to chat about next. So let's discuss, though, the Red Queen. Initial thoughts on the Red Queen. And we got to start off with her number one fan, Priscilla.
This is the show where I do the stupid meme. Yes, Queen. Yes. Like, fuck. Oh my god, like, I see her and, like, just the way she moves, it's very, like, dramatic. It's very, like, I am in this room, I am the presence, you all will look at me. Like, even, like, when she tosses Genie aside, like, it's just, like, a small, like, flick, a wave of her hand. Like, it's just, I don't know, the way she carries herself, it's beautiful. She is beautiful. Like, and you can tell when the costume designer, when the creator really loves a character, he goes all out in making the gowns, and like the gowns and the jewelry for this woman. Good lord, she looks like a De Beers ad. Like, it's epic. Like, I like her, and like her threatening the White Rabbit. I'm like, a part of me like really loves that. I'm like, you know what? You keep doing it. Like, you keep being evil. Like, you're entertaining to watch being evil. You are exactly like Regina and Rumpel season 1. Like, even though they're asshats and you don't want to see bad shit happen, you kind of do because they make it look so good. Like, so yeah.
Yes.
Red Queen. Yes, Queen. Love you. Give me more of you.
Katie, your thoughts on the Red Queen?
I agree with what she was saying. She's a really great character. I mean, I remember when I first watched the series, like during the pilot, I wasn't a total fan of her, but I think that's because we didn't get to see too much of her, and I felt like she was overacting a little bit. But then we got on into the second episode, and I was like, well, I judged way too early. And definitely watching this again, a few years later, she's so great at her character, playing her in the way that she does, and she plays so well off of Jafar, and like she said, they have the dynamic between Jafar and the Red Queen is just fantastic. They do so well together. They play off of each other so well. And you don't want to root for the bad guys, but you do, because...
Yes, you do want to root for the bad guys.
Oh, apparently. But they're just... I mean, when you are looking forward to seeing scenes of villains together, you know that they've done a great job with them. And they just did. I don't know what else I can say, but she's just such a fun character. And then as you get later on into the series, she gets some more depth. But even just starting out in the pilot and rewatching it now, I appreciate her so much more than I did when I first watched the show.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think she's a strong villain. It was great seeing her on the screen. I mean, she, much like the Evil Queen on the Mothership, sort of just ate up all the scenery. She was chewing up that scenery. It was fantastic, and she was just awesome. She was another great female antagonist in the Once Upon a Time universe. So we all like the Red Queen. Brittany, are you going to make it a four-peat?
No, I hate her. No, I'm just kidding. I'm with you guys. I don't know if you guys have ever. I think I did tell you guys that I didn't. I hated Regina in season 1. Like, I hated her, but not like. I think she played the Evil Queen well. I was like, damn, like, you're so good that I hate you. Like, that's how good you are. But for some reason, in Wonderland, the Red Queen right off the bat makes me love to hate her. I don't know why. There's just something about her, and the way Priscilla was describing her is that she's very elegant. Like, she's not trying to be scary. She's trying to act like a queen with grace and beauty. It kind of reminds me of the Princess Diaries, where the queen's teaching her how to be really elegant and not klutz, like a klutz, just be, when you're walking, everybody's in awe, like that type of, aura. She wants to give that off, and I like it because we see it with her really nice heels. We get a shot of her stilettos, like when she's getting off the carriage. She's just on point. If I was gonna be a queen, I'd probably be her. Even maybe with Regina's wardrobe, because I am like with all the black. I like that. But she's just amazing. I agree with everybody here. Amazing, and I can't wait to see what she does again, because I totally forgot most of the series. So I'm really excited to talk about the things that she will do or has done. So awesome.
There are many surprises coming your way, young lady.
Leave me alone. I don't remember. So this is awesome. It's like I'm doing it's like I'm watching it for the first time.
Touch for the very first time.
I didn't say touch.
Okay, well.
I'm just kidding.
Alright, let's talk about the other villain, Jafar. Who would have thought that the characters from Alice's Adventures in Wonderland would get mixed up with the characters from Aladdin? But we have Jafar. He even has his own flying magic carpet and everything. What did we think of the villainous Jafar, and finding out that he was teaming up with the Red Queen on something very nefarious? And I'll start off because I loved Jafar. I love Naveen Andrews. I think he's a fantastic actor. I loved him on Lost, and love that he joined the Once Upon a Time universe as Jafar. I thought he was a very strong villain as well. I thought he really brought a lot of menace to the character of Jafar, and it was great as I think most of you have said, him playing off of the Red Queen was really nice to see. They have really great sort of villainous chemistry, and they're just awesome together. So it was great seeing Jafar on the screen, and if anybody from Once Upon a Time is listening, please bring him into the Mothership. That would be kind of awesome. I'm just saying. But everyone else's thoughts on Jafar? Katie, what'd you think of Jafar?
Jafar is one of my favorites. He is so fantastic. I love Naveen Andrews, kind of like you said. The first thing I saw him in was Lost, and when I heard that he was coming to Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, that made me super excited. And then hearing that he was playing Jafar made it even better. He played the character so well. He has this sort of menace to him that you in danger, that you're not. I don't know if I was totally expecting, but he brings it so well. And he, like I mentioned before, he plays off of the Red Queen so well. They do fantastic in their scenes together, and yeah. But I just remembered this. But one of my favorite things about his character, and I remember when I watched this the first time through, his hair changes like every freaking episode for the first like 4 episodes, and it's really funny because I forgot he started out with like this longer poofy hair, and and then you think back to like towards episode 5 or whatever, and it's like this sleek sort of wavy hair, and it's really funny to see how it changes every episode. But so
are you judging Jafar's wigs?
I'm not judging, but it was just really funny because the length and the look of it changed like every single episode, and it was really funny.
He has a wigologist on speed dial.
Apparently. It's just that you think of like this dark character, and his hair changes every episode, and it's a funny image, but
it's based on his mood.
It's true. But besides the hair, he's a great character, and like his introduction was fantastic. The flying carpet and his staff are super cool. But I really like his character. I could speak his praises all day.
Brittany, your thoughts on Jafar?
Ooh, Jafar is sexy. Like, sexy evil. I like how he comes in with that bad hairdo.
Oh my god.
And he's
the
just
fucking
all
hair.
like, he's like, look at me. Look at my curls. Aren't they perfect? And it's awesome because I had like I said, I didn't see any promos or anything. I just found out about the show because I was looking up Once Upon a Time on Wikipedia, and it's like, oh, it has a spin-off show, and I was like, what is this? So I went, I checked it out, but I had no idea that Jafar was going to be one of the main villains, and I love it. I love it, and I was like, well, let me see what this guy's gonna do, and I love it. He has like all types of like kind of magic, and we get a taste of his power, but I love that we just get to see just how threatening he is. And I like that they don't give us too much about what he wants. And I like that. Like, you don't have to give me everything in episode 1. Like, gradually tell me so I know the end games. But from what I got from like the animated series and then putting it into this series, I was like, oh, okay. I know what you want. I know it. And I just think it's an unlikely alliance. Red Queen and Jafar. Like, 2 totally different worlds colliding or making forming an alliance for a common goal. Like, it's awesome. I like it. You don't need just one villain. You can have 2 big ones and just put them together. Awesome. I like it. I like everything. Jafar was a great pick. And the actor was really good. I've never seen him in anything like you guys. You were talking about Lost. I've never seen Lost. But what he
you need to
brought
catch
to the
up,
character,
lady.
I would never watch Lost. I would never watch Lost. Especially what they said, how it ended and stuff. So
I thought it ended fine.
I don't know. I think it's I don't know if I want to spend my time on that, but either way, from what
you
this
watched
guy
the Vampire
brought,
Diaries,
which is really, really good, really good. So I mean, but yeah, I like what the actor brought in the pilot, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do more with that character. I want to see how ruthless he's going to be, and I want to know, or if I want to, I also want to know, does he have a backstory? Was he always evil? Was he always, I like that stuff, so. I'm prepared, and I like this. Jafar doesn't have a last name, right?
No, it's just Jafar.
Oh,
like
okay.
Madonna.
Evil story. Yeah. All right.
Maybe that's why he has all the hair changes.
Okay. Well, either way, I love Jafar, and awesome. You go Wonderland. bring in that Agrabah up in here.
Oh gosh.
So.
Can I just say, in this episode and in a couple of subsequent episodes, I thought that Jafar and the Red Queen were like instantly gonna be banging because they had like this chemistry and like they get all up in each other's faces.
No, I just thought they had intensity, but I didn't think romantic chemistry was there.
I think they had intensity. I think they both like hate each other, but like are working together because
there's such thing as hate sex.
Duh, but like they.
Wait, I love how Katie's like true.
Like it's just Jafar didn't give off the fact that he needs some. Like he needs to get
okay.
some.
He takes care of it himself.
Yeah, like I feel like he has priorities. Like it feels like he would do her, but that's not like up there.
Okay.
It even feels like he was gonna kill her this episode. Like he's like, I'm done with you. Like you've done whatever I needed. Like he's a backstabbing motherfucker. Like and in a way that makes him even more ruthless than the Red Queen who we thought pushed Genie into like the boiling sea. Like he's worse because he won't honor like deals. Once he's gained his usefulness out of you, like he's gonna kill you. And oh my god, like it's awesome how the actor can convey like you being scared and you like being pushed around like that way with the silly hair he's got on this episode. I'm sorry, like I'm like, dude, you rock the Jerry curl. Like that is fabulous. What the fuck? Okay, like I never pictured Jafar having that hairstyle, but okay.
And he doesn't even have hair in the animated movie.
Well, we never saw it.
Yeah, that's why. So I'm gonna assume he does.
It's just kind of like, I don't know, like watching them both like interact, watching him try and kill her, and then like watching her kind of like flip the script on him and be like, "Want to get on your raggedy little carpet and go away?" Like, yes, like they both hate each other. I've watched the series, so they're gonna keep hating each other, and I'm here for it. Like, I would watch this every episode.
Arabian Night. I was hoping that would be his theme.
Oh
In my
god.
opinion, I was hoping when he flew away on the magic carpet that they were gonna play it in the back. Yeah, I was like, yeah, but no. But it's okay.
Alright, so we're done talking about the human characters. Let's talk a little bit about the CGI characters and the CGI in general, because I know that was a big topic of controversy during the show's initial run. So let's discuss the main CGI character, which is the White Rabbit. And we also had a supporting CGI character in this episode with the Cheshire Cat. And then, of course, the CGI that was used in the various locations, like the Queen's Palace, the carpets, the backgrounds in Wonderland. What do we think of the CGI as a whole? And I will start off by saying I loved the White Rabbit. I think the White Rabbit is one of my favorite CGI creations in the Once Upon a Time universe because I feel like the White Rabbit is so well done. The Cheshire Cat, I wish that we had seen more of the Cheshire Cat, and unfortunately he's not like a big presence in the rest of the series, so that I thought that was unfortunate as well. And the voice actor for the Cheshire Cat is Keith David, who has such a strong voice in and of itself. It was disappointing for me, at least, that they sort of did an effect on his voice to make him not sound like himself, because I feel like his regular voice is already so menacing. I thought that would have been better for the Cheshire Cat. And, well, I'll give my opinions on the backgrounds after you guys discuss it. So any thoughts on the CGI characters in general?
CGI.
I'm going to disagree with you. I hate the CGI so much. Like,
the who?
For the White Rabbit. Like,
oh, I thought he's well done. Compared to the other stuff we've seen, especially on the Mothership.
No, on the Mothership first season, you got freaking Maleficent the Dragon, which was fucking awesome. And here you're getting, like, some Roger Rabbit wannabe. Like, I hate him. I hate the White Rabbit so fucking much. Like, he's a drag every time I see him on screen.
I think he's well done.
On
I
the
thought the
other hand,
dragon wasn't.
characters- Oh, tastes differ, I guess. Then, but like, I will say, I fucking loved Cheshire. Like, he's like a call to like American McGee's Alice, like that fucking creepy ass video game. Like, you just look at him and like you're threatened. And I always thought in the books when they say that like it's a cat that smiles and is like, I don't know. And in the animated series, when the animated movie, when you see like that smile turn into the moon, like you're scared of him, and he's a good he's a good CGI character. I loved Cheshire. I thought he was convincing. I don't like the White Rabbit.
I love the rabbit. What about backgrounds as well? Okay.
Okay, so here, my thing about the show is I feel like they do most of the creatures really well, and some of the effects well, but the backgrounds are so bad.
Yeah, and one thing that I don't like, Katie, just really quick, one thing that I don't like is that the mixture of sometimes it's a CGI background and sometimes it's a real background.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have like the
And I
random
feel like
like fake mushrooms behind them to remind us that they're in Wonderland.
I feel like it's the same way in the main show to a point, but it's not as bad as in this one. Like, I understand that this place is supposed to be whimsical and magical, and to a degree I can give that as an excuse and not be totally bothered by it. Like, the first time I watched a show, it really stuck out to me as really bad, and it really bothered me. This time it didn't bother me as much, but it still does. But I do think that the creatures are done well. Like, I actually like the rabbit a lot.
Thank you,
and
Katie.
I liked the cat. And I liked the cat a lot, too. But I feel like the backgrounds are just so badly done.
And the palace is so ugly. Like, at least make it look somewhat realistic, but it's like a hodgepodge of chess pieces, which kind of makes sense, but, like, at least make it look like a palace and not like it's some sort of child's play set from Fisher-Price.
What is nice though is that
You know
when
what
go
I'm
to Disney
saying.
World, when you see like Alice going like small, I thought that was cool.
That was good. Like, for
good.
me, a lot of the background wasn't as bad. And I agree with Katie, initially when I saw it, it was like, oh my god, what the hell are they doing? The one time the background was really, really bad was after they showed us that Cyrus is alive, and then they did that really neat pan up, and then they basically showed us that Cyrus isn't that far away from where Alice was, but they were walking down like the yellow brick road, like la 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 la, and that was horrible. Like, that location where they were skipping along was really bad. I was like, I am in a Super Nintendo video game.
Hey. Don't make fun of Super Nintendo. That's so true.
Yeah, it was just, I was like, oh my gosh, like, hop up, Alice, get the coins, jump over the Goomba.
Oh my god, Goombas.
It was really bad.
I think all of you guys nailed any problems I had, but either way, I guess I just don't know what else to say about it. You know what? No, I have nothing to say.
Oh gosh, some of it was good though. Like I know, like, you were obsessed with your Arabian Nights, like him flying away on the carpet. Like, I thought that was really good, and I loved how in Wonderland, like, there are these floating mountains or floating cities. I don't even know what they were, but I thought that was like neat looking and everything like that. And even the inside of the Queen's palace is nice to look at. It's just some of the exterior shots and some of the background is just really bad.
And I think we all have permission to criticize as much as we want, because it is Alice in Wonderland, and when we think Alice in Wonderland, we think a lot of weird shit can be in the shot. This place that they're in is supposed to be weird. It's supposed to be like, what is that? But it's also supposed to be cool looking. We're supposed to be like, oh, I want to be that, or oh, that's really cool. I want to be there. And if it looks a little odd, of course I think we're allowed to say some, some stuff. And it is. So I mean, it's okay.
But like some stuff, like the marshmallow, like the mallow marsh, like what that looked cool.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
I would totally like.
And the dragonflies.
I
was like, why aren't they eating the marshmallow?
I know, right?
I'd be like eating everything. I'd be like, don't worry, I'll get myself out of here.
Can I just say that to clean off marshmallow, like patting yourself is not going to do it.
That's true, but it must have been some kind of weird marshmallow that can come off.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I saw them doing that. I was like, that's not how it works.
Exactly.
I saw them thinking, and I was like, no, the dress is pretty. So is the jacket. You're gonna ruin it all. But no, like they just patted it, and it's okay. Everybody's good.
Yeah.
I will say, like, along with background, like everything looked good. Like where they could get the details, like reality wise, like they did a good job. Because obviously that Mallow Marsh, like, wasn't like just like there, like that was special effects. Like it was good, and the costuming was really good. Like they worked together with what they got, which is a really shit CGI.
Yeah, I wish that they would have just added a little bit more money into the CGI budget, and I wish that they would have done like Once Upon a Time Mothership did in season 3, the first half in Neverland. All of Neverland was a set. They should have just made all of Wonderland a set. They could have used that same damn soundstage for Neverland. Or wait, this came out the same time as Neverland, so maybe they were too busy. Maybe that's why they didn't have a whole soundstage. Rent another soundstage, people. That's what you guys should have done.
Put it in the budget.
Exactly. All right. Okay. So it's that time, everybody. Everyone's favorite moment. It's time for the MVP, the most valuable player, the character that impressed you the most, and why. Same rules apply as to our mothership, Storybrooke Weekly Mirror. So if an MVP has been called, you may give it a shout out, but you have to pick another MVP. So we're going to start off with Katie.
Yes.
Favoritism.
So I can be mean. I'm going to be mean, okay? I'm sorry. But I'm choosing Alice because we got to see her kick butt.
You're very mean.
And I know. But I will choose her because we got to see her kick butt. We got to see her in Wonderland. We got to see her in just different states of mind, being at the worst state of mind in the asylum and then breaking out of the asylum and having her faith in Cyrus renewed and seeing her choose to find him and go on this adventure through a dangerous land. So I was very impressed with her in this episode, and I definitely fell in love with her character and made me want to see a lot more.
Ooh. Brittany, your MVP, and why?
My MVP, why? Okay. So for the pilot, I guess what really stuck out to me was probably Will. I mean, maybe I'm being a little biased, which I am. Okay, yeah, I'll admit I'm being biased because I love Will, but
let's be honest.
I think, yeah, I mean, let's be honest, but it's not so much that, for his good qualities, but I think we get to see almost a lot of different sides to Will in just the pilot. We get the very beginning of the episode where he's snarky and he's sassy, but he still goes to help Alice. Like the rabbit tells him, let's go, and he's like, okay, fine, let's go. And he's going on this journey for selfish reasons, but that doesn't mean he has to be an ass all the time. And we get to see him be nice. We get to see him be sympathetic and empathetic. Like, it's awesome. And I think that impressed me the most because in what pilot do we get, like, a character with so many different sides that we get to see in one episode? Like, it's amazing. And it makes me excited for more Will and his sexy accent. So, Will is my MVP.
Priscilla, dare we guess who your MVP is going to be?
It's the White Rabbit, of course. No. Fuck that. It is the fucking Red Queen. bow down, bitches. She's got the throne. I love her. Like, to have her go up against Jafar and, like, knowing that she's outclassed magic-wise and can still say, you need me. To not really know why she's doing what she's doing, but still kind of, like, antagonizing Alice. Like, we don't know why she does what she does, but, like, I'm here for it. Like, between, like, seeing her right off the bat and, like, those heels to seeing her being, but, like, still just kind of like, no, I refuse to bow down to you. Like, I love her. She's the best. Hail the queen.
All right now. And my MVP, actually, and I decided this before Priscilla joked around about it, but I picked the White Rabbit. I love the character. I love the CGI. I love that he was duplicitous. I didn't get a chance to really discuss it because we really didn't go into sort of like the White Rabbit's motivations, but I love how we find out in this episode that he's working with the Red Queen, and we don't know why. Obviously, she's threatened him, but I thought that was an interesting twist on the White Rabbit lore, how he's helping out the Red Queen and spying for her on what Alice and Will are doing. So I thought that was an interesting twist. And something else that we didn't mention is I always love learning new ways to travel between realms, and I love that the White Rabbit basically sort of draws a circle and it creates a portal and it can take you anywhere. So I thought that was kind of neat. So props to the White Rabbit. And so now, listeners, what we're going to do is we're going to rate the episode. We're going to rate the episode on a 10-point scale from 1 to 10. I guess technically if you hate the episode, you can give it a 0. But you know what I'm saying. From 1 to 10, we can do the point system as far as, you know, you can give it a something 0.5, a something point something. If you feel it isn't quite a, I don't know, like let's say a 7 or an 8. And if you feel the episode is truly exceptional, just an FYI, listeners, we're doing it on a mushroom scale, so from 1 to 10 mushrooms, 10 being the best. But if you feel like something is truly exceptional, you can give it a golden mushroom. Exciting. Just don't eat it, because I'm not sure if it'll make you grow or shrink. So
I need to grow.
Buyer beware. So let's find out what you rate the episode and why you rated it that way. And we'll go in the same order. We'll start off with Katie.
Okay. I'm gonna give it 9 mushrooms.
Ooh.
Because I thought it was a great episode. It was a great opener to a miniseries. And it gave us a lot of great insight into the characters, a lot of good scenes with the characters. Gave us a feel for what they're like and what their starting points are. But there were some things that made it, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that stuck out to me that wasn't my favorite. And I can't remember if I felt like it moved too fast or it moved too slow. Maybe the pacing, there was something with the pacing that wasn't my favorite in this episode. I can't pinpoint what it was. But that was really the only thing that stuck out to me. So, yeah, I'm just going to give it 9 mushrooms because I thought it was pretty great.
Brittany, what do you rate the episode on your mushroom scale?
On my mushroom scale, okay. I'm going to give it an 8.5 because
I love the dramatic pause. That was excellent.
Thank you. Well, because first of all, it's not, out of all the shows I've seen, not every pilot gets to me. If I'm lucky and I'm binging a show on Netflix, I could hate the pilot but keep watching just to see if it gets better. But usually those I'll rate like maybe a 5 out of 10, but this gets an 8.5 only because it's not perfect, but it's still so good. Like all the characters are good. And then and then there's that, right? But then it's like, do you want to know more? Are you interested in where this is going? And it's like, yes, like I have like a little checkbox, you know? Like, and it pretty much got all of them except a couple. I'm kind of like with Katie. There was something in the episode that I didn't like, and I know one of them for sure is probably the cliche evil doctor that doesn't really care about getting you better or even knowing if you're sick or not. You're just, there to be tortured or whatever. And it's a kind of a thing in, a lot of other shows or movies. So I was kind of like, I'm not a big fan of that. But aside from that, it was really good. Just going into a world where anything can happen, it makes it outstanding, but not perfect. But we'll see. I'm probably going to be giving a lot of golden eggs. I know I probably will be doing it. So
Golden mushrooms.
Oh, god damn it. Golden mushrooms. I don't even like mushrooms, to be honest. I don't like
How dare you?
Dude, mushrooms are gross. Except one time I
Yeah,
ate
they
it
are
in ramen. Except one time I ate it in ramen because it was a marinated mushroom and it tasted quite good. So yeah, 8.5 for me.
Oh God, cooking tips with Brittany coming soon to poppychularadio.com and iTunes.
I make a lot of ramen.
Oh God. Priscilla, please rate the episode. Oh God.
Okay, so I love mushrooms. But I'm gonna be wary about giving golden mushrooms. This one certainly doesn't get a golden mushroom. Doesn't even get a 10 for me. For me, it gets maybe an 8. Like, I want to say 8.5 too, like Brittany, just because, like, when the CGI was bad, it was very bad. Like, and I did like the twist that the White Rabbit was working with the Red Queen, kind of like in the books. The White Rabbit is a servant to the Red Queen. But, I don't know, like, that CGI, goddamn. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, in future episodes, we're going to see it, like, done better. And the pacing, something about that is a little off. Like, she's right. Like, at some points you felt like, oh my god, I want to see more of this. And the other, I'm like, why is it taking 10 minutes for him to fall into the boiling sea? Like, why is he just kind of floating there? Like, it's odd. So 8.5 mushrooms.
That's funny. Okay, so would I rate it? If I were to rewind time and go back to the fall of 2013, I probably would have given this a 6. If I were to rewind time. Because it was not the best initially when I watched it. At some point, I found it a bit boring. Initially, when I first watched it. Seeing it again, I actually give it an 8. Because I feel like it's much stronger the second time around. Like, I don't know if it's the nostalgia factor. I don't know if it's that we already know the characters because, I've already seen the entire series. And so knowing the characters and sort of seeing them introduced on screen for the first time, it's just a different perspective seeing it the second time around. But I enjoyed it much more the second time around. I do feel like there's a pacing issue. I don't think it's going too fast. I thought it was slow. There were elements that are very slow, and even still to this day, there are elements that are very slow. But it isn't as much of a deterring factor now as it was the first time that I watched it. The CGI, I feel like we've said it enough, but yeah, the CGI at certain points is really, really bad. And I whisper it because I feel bad, because I'm sure someone out there worked really hard and thought it looked really good. But no bueno. Like I said before, and I'm going to say it again because it was that good, when the Red Queen's palace looks like a Fisher-Price playhouse, that's not good. No, that's not good. It's just, but yeah. But overall, strong characters, a strong lead, a strong set of villains, a very strong supporting player that becomes the breakout star. Overall, 8 mushrooms from me, with maybe a little pixie dust on the top. Not enough to make it like an 8.5, but just, make it a little shiny.
Cooking tips from Poppy Chulo.
Yes, coming soon. Set to rival Brittany's show. No, let me stop. It's that time, everybody. It's time to get a little spoilery. Let's dive into some Easter eggs featured in this week's episode of Once Upon a Time in Wonderland and the Once Upon a Time television universe. This is an official spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Check out our official Facebook like page by visiting facebook.com/Storybrooke Weekly Mirror. Alright, I have some interesting little tidbits from this episode. And we'll start off with the title of the episode. The title of the episode is Down the Rabbit Hole. And that actually is the name of the first chapter of the novel Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
Yay!
Another interesting tidbit, the procedure that Dr. Lydgate was preparing to perform on Alice is more than likely, for its time, the removal of parts of the cerebral cortex. It's a form of psychosurgery that was first performed in 1881.
Oh.
I know, right?
Still
So
horrifying.
then we can safely assume that that's like around the era that she's from.
Yeah, very true.
So-
Victorian England, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
like it said what year it was too. Like during
Was it?
the contract itself says like the year.
Correct. We're actually going to be talking about the contract in just a moment. Because I have actually all the words from the contract, which is interesting. But before that, young Alice wears a dress similar to the outfit that Alice wore in the 1951 Disney animated film, which we sort of commented on. And as we saw, elements from the original Alice story, much as, her journey down the rabbit hole, the characters Caterpillar, Cheshire Cat, Knave of Hearts, and White Rabbit are all, a version of characters from the Alice in Wonderland story, as well as, the Tweedles, the Red Queen. Those are from the sequel, Through the Looking Glass, and of course we know the genie and the sorcerer as from characters from Aladdin. The clock tower that we saw in Storybrooke shows the usual time that we all are familiar with, 8:15. And as far as the contract, this is actual verbiage from the contract. It says Bethlehem Royal Hospital, St. George's Fields, Southwark, London, and it says special procedure. I hereby consent to the special procedure outlined to me by Dr. Arthur Lydgate under the Lunacy Act and County Asylums Act of 1845. I understand that Dr. Arthur Lydgate has the authority to detain me until such a time that I exhibit recuperative progress as to be indicative of a cessation of the symptoms of mania, lunacy, idiocy, and other unsounds of mind or moral turpitude. Dr. Arthur Lydgate will submit an assessment to the Commission and the Home Secretary's office. It is under their ultimate authority that I will determine my eventual release. The Lunacy Commission will restrict my access to the courts of law so that I may not challenge the legality of my sequestration or care. By signing below, I hereby indicate that I understand the legal stipulations outlined in the above. Signed and witness, Dr. Arthur Lydgate, M.D.
Always read your contracts. That shit is signing away her life.
I know, right?
And her decision making. What the fuck? I love how they say idiocy too.
Well, you know what I'm saying. All right now, and among the plush toys that are sitting around the small dinner table when Alice returns to Victorian England is a white rabbit. And for those that have a keen eye and that saw the mothership, it is the same plush toy that the Mad Hatter ends up buying for his daughter Grace in the Once Upon a Time episode Hat Trick. And yeah. So that was interesting, and it'll also be seen in a future episode as well. And those are the Easter eggs. Did everybody enjoy the eggs?
Yes. Are they chocolate eggs?
Yes.
Then I enjoy.
Filled with warm cream.
Yeah.
Alright, everybody, join us next time for a brand new installment of Storybrooke Weekly Mirror in Wonderland. Visit the Papi Chulo Radio archives to download this episode and many more. Binge listen to your favorite Papi Chulo Radio programs by visiting papichuloradio.com/archives. You can download tonight's broadcast as well as the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Storybrooke Weekly Mirror in Wonderland and subscribe. Please like us on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Storybrooke Weekly Mirror. You can also like Papi Chulo Radio on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Papi Chulo Radio. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/Papi Chulo Radio. Email us via contact@papichuloradio.com with any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns. Are you interested in joining the Papi Chulo Radio team as an honored personality or blog contributor? Email talent@papichuloradio.com. Co-hosts, please wish the listeners a good night.
Night, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific throughout the summer for a brand new installment of Storybrooke Weekly Mirror in Wonderland. Good night.